respect to high-tech institution, right? With my professional career, past 12 years. In addition to that, last 7 to 8 years, right? Along with high-tech, we are providing trainings also to the people across the world. Okay, that's how today I'm presenting a Kubernetes session. You all well known, and many of them ping me on WhatsApp. So many people ping me on WhatsApp. Hari, what is the batch timing? Hari, what is the topic you're gonna take? Hari, what is the fee structure for this training? Hari, what are the different topic you're gonna take? Okay, this kind of similar question, people, everybody asking. First, before starting, I'll answer your frequently asked question because many of them curious to know about the online answers only. So that this particular Kubernetes, right? I'm not only go with Kubernetes. I'm planning to include, okay, Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins. These are my core areas where I'm going to cover. So I'm planning to target 30 to 35 hours of training, guys. Okay, literally it's going to approximate 1 month, let's assume. Okay, 30 to 35 hours of training, 1 month it will be. Daily basis, I'm planning to take 1 hour. Okay, Monday to Friday only the classes will be. Saturday, Sunday will be pure holiday. In the weekend, right, you can enjoy. You don't want to learn anything at all. And Monday to Friday, daily basis, the classes will be on 1 hour basis. Okay, it will not be more than that. So by the way, you can handle your personal work, you can handle your office work. Parallelly, right, you can upgrade your skill by spending 1 hour, 1 hour. That is the overall intention for making this. All right, now I told you, right, daily basis we are going to have 1 hour, 1 hour session, but today I'm going to give the introduction to my entire course. I'm gonna give the overview about what is Docker and what is Kubernetes and what is Jenkins, how it is using in the live project. And next 1 month, right, what we are going to learn, that overview I'm going to give. Okay, based on today blueprint only the entire courses will be. Okay, and also I'm going to give you one more input. If anybody learning self-study, if anybody doing self-study, for them, what is the best way to learn and what are the things to be learned? Okay, that part I'm going to highlight. All right, so this is my intention today. Of course, every day 1 hour session, right? But today is the very first day class. I don't want you guys to make it overload. So what I am going to do, I'm going to shorten my training for 30 minutes. Okay, in the 30 minutes only today. Tomorrow onwards we'll go as per the schedule. Today I'll just shorten my training 30 to 35 minutes max. We'll plan accordingly. All right, that will be more, more quick, and that will be more thing to learn. You won't get bored. Okay, fine, guys. We'll get started, and I'll tell you what are the topic we're gonna cover and what is the training fee and everything. Of course, you're gonna get huge offer by end of this session. You came to know about it. All right, let's get started now. Kubernetes, one of the leading technology in present world. I don't want to tell about Kubernetes because you know the importance of Kubernetes. The beauty about Kubernetes, right? One of the orchestration tool, containerization tool, and manage it, provide high availability, blah blah blah. All this scenario that depends, but the main focus is all about Kubernetes, right? It's common for all the people. Okay, so people who working in cloud computing, people who working in development, the people who working on, DevOps guy, whoever it is, cloud computing is common for everyone. Okay, it's common syllabus for everyone. That is the beauty about Kubernetes. And people are telling, okay, now if you have a cloud knowledge, either AWS or Azure or GCP, that is a very really good for next upcoming career. In addition to that, what I'm highlighting, along with the cloud knowledge, along with those knowledge, if you are updating your Kubernetes knowledge also, that will be really, really good for your career growth. Why I'm telling, if you go and attend any interview, if you are seeing any job description, right, minimum people would have mentioned one word about Kubernetes. Okay, so that is really mandatory, guys. That is what which pushed us to learn Kubernetes today. You all of them here with me. Great. Fine. Let's start with one by one. I'll tell you the architecture first. Only then you'll understand the concept. So understanding architecture, there are some pre-technology available before Kubernetes. Let me start from the scratch. Okay, because I know I discussed with many people before starting the batch. Most of them new to this technology. So I need to start from the scratch. So initially, if you take any organization, before all this technology came into the picture, everybody, they had a physical server where they are hosting their application. When they are developed any web application or console application or any customized application, whatever it is, they had their own physical server. Each and every server, they used to host their application. It was fine, but later when the number of application increased, it's very difficult to manage number of physical server. It became more and more complex. That is the reason there is something called virtual machine came. Okay, with the help of hypervisor, you will create multiple VMs. Okay, let me open my MS Paint. I'll tell you, I'll tell you clearly so that you will get more idea. Okay, people felt that there is a difficulty in handling our VMs. That's why, right, we have started something called hypervisor. So where in this architecture, see, it will be very simple actually. So where we'll have a hardware in the sense, keep in mind your CPU, RAM, okay, all these, motherboard, hard disk, everything. On top of your hardware, right, you will be installing there is something called a hypervisor. You will be installing there is something called a hypervisor. This is software actually. This is a software. On top of the hypervisor, right? The main purpose of this hypervisor, initial day, each and every application, you had your own physical server. If you have a 5 number of application, you have to go with 5 physical server. When the hypervisor concept came, what it helped? It helping us to convert single physical hardware into multiple VMs. Convert single physical hardware into multiple VMs. Okay, VM in the sense virtual machine. There is no more physical machine concept. Everything became virtualized. Everything became virtualized. By doing it right, we are in the single hardware, we would able to provision more number of VMs. By the way, in single hardware, I can provision 3 different applications. See, for an example, this is my virtual machine. With the help of my hypervisor, which helps me to create a multiple VM, I would provision multiple application on top of it. Okay, this is the concept of hypervisor actually. Hypervisor, or people will call it as a VMs. People will call it as a VMs. This is the overall representation of it. So there is a problem here. There is a problem in this, and what is the problem? I'll tell you. Okay, when people are started using this technology, right? Yeah, comparatively on premises, this VM concept somewhat better, but there's a problem here, right? Each and every VM, right, that will consume lots of memory and resources. Hardware consumption is high. Hardware consumption is very high. And license cost. The hypervisor, people used to have the VMware ESXi. Okay, VMware ESXi, Hyper-V. These kind of license cost is very high again. Okay, which all comes into the picture, and people know they are started migrating to their application into where they are migrating their application into where, into Docker based concept. People are migrated their application into Docker based environment, right? Docker based environment. Got it? Here, if you come to the Docker based environment, same we will have a hardware. Same we'll have a hardware like that. Okay. So instead of hypervisor, right, you will have a operating system. Instead of hypervisor, you will have a operating system. You will have a operating system, OS. Okay. On top of OS, we'll have something called Docker engine will be placed. On top of operating system, we'll have a Docker engine in place. We have a Docker engine in place. The Docker engine will help us to create a multiple containers. The Docker engine helps us to create a multiple containers. I'll tell you the differences between VM and container. Okay, give me a sec. These are my containers basically. Okay, what happens? People felt hypervisor providing VM, hypervisor technology which provides a VM. So it's really higher in utilizing hardware cost. License for hypervisor is really high. That is the reason why people started using Docker. Docker is purely open source. Docker is purely open source. You do not have to pay any license cost at all. We'll have a hardware, right? On top of it, operating system. On top of the operating system, we'll have a Docker engine. So how hypervisors provide VM? Similar way, Docker will provide you containers. Docker will provide you containers. Containers are small in size, very small in size actually. Okay, containers are very small in size, and these particular containers, right, will help you to provision your application. The main advantage is in the same hardware, if you would provision 3 VM, 3 application, if you are using Docker container, right, in the same given hardware, same configuration of given hardware, with the help of Docker, right, you can provision double the number of VMs based upon your application. So given hardware, open source, very small in size, very compatible. You can provision multiple application on top of it. This is the biggest changes in Docker. But still, people felt there is a drawback in this Docker. What is the drawback? You don't have high availability. If your hardware goes failure, your operating system goes failure, or operating system got corrupted, whatever, your container will not be accessible. If container goes down, your application also down. There is no proper high availability. That is the drawback over here. That is the reason everybody, right, nowadays started using Kubernetes as a technology. That is the reason everybody started using Kubernetes as a technology. Okay, the evaluation of hypervisor, Docker, currently Kubernetes. In short form, people mention Kubernetes as K8s. So let me tell you the architecture of Kubernetes first. We'll have a hardware like that. We'll have a hardware like that. We'll have an operating system also like that. Okay. Okay, so one sec. Yep. We'll have a component like that. All right. One second, please. All right, not an issue. We'll have a component like that. Basically, we used to call it as a node 1. Okay, we used to calling it as a node 2. We'll be calling it as a node 3. So coming to Kubernetes, right? People follows the cluster-based mechanism. Okay. Okay, people are following cluster-based mechanism. On top of it, your Kubernetes will come into the picture. Okay, Kubernetes is combination of Docker plus Kubernetes, both. Here, what people telling? Here in hypervisor, it's provide you VM. Docker, it's provide you containers. Kubernetes will provide you, there is something called pod. Kubernetes providing you something called pod. I'll come into the picture why we are calling it as a pod and what is the advantage of pod. Compare your container and your VMs. Okay, assume that you have a pod like that. Let me highlight the name. This is your pods. Okay, the main biggest advantage coming to this Kubernetes concept is if your node goes failure, your operating system goes failure. Assume that your node goes failure, operating system goes failure. We have another node 2 and node 3 available in this particular cluster, so they will be continue providing support to your application. Okay, that is one of the advantage. Similarly, if your pod goes down, it automatically recreates the pod again. It will automatically recreates the pod again. Your application will be reprovisioned automatically. That is the second advantage of Kubernetes. We have many more advantages. Something like, see, node level it's provide you high availability. Pod level it's provide you high availability. You know, management wise is very easy. It's providing you a very good log mechanism. It's providing you very good monitoring functionality. It's very much capable in providing and provisioning your application. It has very simple to manage it. Okay, so comparatively, right, it's very optimized one. That is the reason nowadays everybody started using Kubernetes. The biggest plus point, right, nowadays Kubernetes, right, it's one of the servers is integrated with all the cloud service providers, AWS, SaaS, Azure, GCP. Everybody nowadays having Kubernetes as one of the servers. That is another plus point. Everybody started using Kubernetes in today's world. They make it very simple actually. Basically, Kubernetes is the technology. Anyone knows who's the inventor of Kubernetes technology? Who's the father of Kubernetes technology? Anyone can answer? In crowd, unmute and answer.
Google.
Initially invented. And anyone knows? You can't believe if you answer. Anyone knows who's initially invented Kubernetes technology? Okay. Fine.
Microsoft?
No. Kubernetes is product of Google actually. You can't believe, right? Kubernetes initially it's a product of Google. Google invented this technology for Google invented this technology for helping and providing information to their users, Google's user. Later, right, they announced this is open source. Once they announce open source, right, nowadays all the cloud service provider are integrated. Kubernetes is one of the service, and people are enjoying and using nowadays in very easy and smart way. Okay, this is the evaluation of Kubernetes. Now in present today world, right, management of Kubernetes is very easy. Log management is very easy. Monitoring is very easy. It's providing you high availability on great manner, on node level, on pod level. Nowadays, many auto scaling, many features came. Okay, we can't even imagine the technology how it grows today. So that is the only reason, right? Everybody prefer to go with Kubernetes for deploying their microservices and their applications. That is one of the main reason. Okay, this is the high level architecture, guys. Why people evaluated from Hypervisor and Docker. Now why we are in Kubernetes. Okay, just for your understanding. All right, why Kubernetes today? For answering why Kubernetes, this is the reason. The same diagram where I mentioned the MS Paint, right? Here it's graphically shown. That let it be, no issues. If you go in deep dive of Kubernetes architecture, right, we'll have a many components are there. Something like many components. If you go deep dive into Kubernetes, there is something called a let me take my pen. It will have something like master node. Okay, it will have something like my worker node. Okay, basically master node is my manager. In the cluster itself, we have a master node. Master node controlling this node and this node actually. Master node will control this node and this node. Master node will have a specific component. There's something called API server, controller, scheduler, kubelet, container runtime, network proxy, pod, something. Each and everything are a component of Kubernetes, each doing its own job. Basically, Kubernetes is a distributed system, each of them performing their own task actually. It's actually in-depth core concept. We'll discuss about it maybe from tomorrow or day after tomorrow class. If I'm explaining you all these things, right, you will feel Kubernetes is a difficult one. Okay, it's not like that very easy. We have enough time, we'll learn it. Okay, this is the internal component of Kubernetes. All right, fine. Now we'll come to the people, those who are preparing for their interview. Okay, currently you may be working in a DevOps guy, or currently you are working as a cloud engineer, or whatever it is, whatever platform you are. I told you already, Kubernetes is common for everyone. You may have 5 years experience, you may have a 2 years experience, you have a 10 plus years experience. Kubernetes is common. The people who are coming here, right, we are treating them as a fresher only for Kubernetes. Okay, whether you already know something, knows these topic, doesn't matter at all. Whoever falling here in this batch, we are considering you all as a fresher only. So now I'll tell you for the preparation of the interview. That's very important, right? If anybody preparing for your interview, if anybody learning Kubernetes for your certification or whatever, I think I need to tell you something honestly. So many people are doing the repeated mistake referring Kubernetes kind of technology in YouTube and Udemy. Referring Kubernetes kind of technology on YouTube and Udemy. I'll tell you why. Don't misunderstand me. Don't mistake me. There is a valid reason. When you are telling these Kubernetes kind of technology, what happened? When you are learning YouTube and Udemy, the people more and more into theoretical. First point, the people more and more into theoretical. The people will never share any information about the live Kubernetes project. The people will never share about the client information and how it's in Kubernetes project. The people, right, from YouTube and Udemy, they will never ever share the day-to-day activity of Kubernetes engineer. So only theoretical concept and only the general concepts oriented thing they used to explain. With that, right, if you go to any interview, they will clearly recognize, okay, you learned Kubernetes somewhere and came for the interview. Like that, they will clearly recognize. That is the reason what I'm telling, learn everything with a real-time project perspective. See, I'll tell you the hint, I'll tell you the tips. You can take two options. You can take two options. This is the option number 1. Okay, this is the option number 2. It's totally up to you. First option, right, I'll tell you the path, I'll tell you the methodology, I'll set up you the path. You follow my path, you learn by yourself. That's totally fine. It's up to your talent. Okay, I'm appreciating you. If any people still wanted my support, right, I'm starting my batch from tomorrow. You can be part of my batch. You can learn it. I'll teach you one by one on daily basis. Okay, so I wanted to help both the people. If you have a more confident, get my guidance now and follow your own way. Or you wanted to follow me along with me, I want to teach you on every day, I'll do that also. Okay, that is why I'm starting a batch from tomorrow. Fine. The way is all about when you are decided to learn Docker or Kubernetes or Jenkins kind of DevOps advanced technology, you have to learn with the real-time project perspective. You should know not only the content, you should know about what's going on in live project, what is my client requirement, what are the different use case my client will give, how these things are going on in live Kubernetes project, how this pipelines are being set up by Jenkins, all these things, right? You should aware. Then only you can answer your roles and responsibility clear in every interview. See, let's take me one scenario. Okay, this is one of the real project use case. Recently, we have worked in our project. Okay, I'll tell you this scenario. So then you will came to know what does mean the real project use case. First, there is something called a developer. You are sitting. Okay, who's the developer? You and me is the developer now. Okay. So what we will do whenever we write a code, we will be pushing into the GitHub. We'll be pushing into the GitHub. This is my GitHub. GitHub is a source code management repo. This is a repository where I used to maintain all my source code. If we take a live project, right, there will be 5-10 engineers will be there, right? We cannot keep the source code in my machine. And also, one engineer working on this particular module, another engineer may work on different modules. So what we will do, we'll centrally keep this as a location. All my project colleagues are having access to this repository where we'll be maintaining all our source codes. Okay, maintaining source code centrally, we'll use this GitHub. So here there is a superhero. There is somebody called Jenkins. There's a superhero, somebody called Jenkins. Jenkins is the pipeline tool. Jenkins is the open source tool. Jenkins is the tool which developed by Java programming language. Jenkins is the tool, is a centralized one, and where it can interact with all the locations. So basically, the Jenkins is one of the tool only. It's platform independent, very lightweight application. Okay, very reliable software, right? So using the Jenkins, what I will do, I'll authenticate to my GitHub. I'll download all the source codes. I'll download all the source code in the GitHub to process. Once I have downloaded, right, what I'll do, Jenkins can authenticate into AWS. Jenkins can authenticate into AWS. Jenkins authenticate into GitHub. Jenkins can do all the activity by running the pipeline in the Jenkins. It's a centralized spot, right? It can do all the capable things. By implementing Jenkins in our work, day-to-day work, right? What it can reduce number of manual work. If you are doing a work 4 to 5 different work manually, Jenkins can do it as a pipeline, one after next, one after next. Very smoothly, it will take you forward. That is why people are using Jenkins on most of the cases. There are many other competitive tools available for Jenkins, something like Circle CI, Bamboo, GitHub, and GitLab. After that, TeamCity. There are many tools are available, but the problem with other tools, right, those are not open source. Those are paid software. You need to purchase a license. But Jenkins is not that case. It's completely open source. It has thousands of plugins. Okay, it's very easy to handle, easy to provision also, and it's very lightweight application. That is the reason everybody going with the Jenkins. Jenkins is a centralized tool where it can automate all my work by creating a pipeline. So it can authenticate to my GitHub. It can authenticate into my AWS. It can do all the certain work the way how I'm defining. That is why people give more preference to Jenkins. If you go to live projects, right, minimum 80 to 90% of people are still using Jenkins. Okay, one of the important tool in DevOps career. All right. So this is a scenario. It creates a pipeline. What it will do is the image build and pushes the Docker Hub and after testing. This is the Docker. What we will do, we will be creating an image. All right, we will be creating an image with the help of Jenkins pipeline. We are pushing into the Docker Hub. That is the main core here. All right. Once the image is ready, with the help of Jenkins again, what we will do, we will provision in Kubernetes. We'll provision my application into Kubernetes. My application will be running from the Kubernetes. Once my application is running with the help of Jenkins, by default it will contain my high availability to my application. Until and unless if I go and manually stop the application, it will be highly available to my customers. My customers won't face any difficulty, even if it is a difficult situation. The entire process, right, we will automate it. This is something called a Jenkins pipeline. I'm telling you one by one sections, right? Each of the part is something, call it as each stages in pipeline. We'll be learning more about the pipeline. This is the overview about each tool. In our training program, right, we are going to discuss about these are the tools only. My main intention, right, in our training program, I told you already, going to be 1 month course, literally daily basis, 1 hour session. Total duration of this course, right, it will be 30 hours, Monday to Friday, daily basis, 1 hour. I'm majorly and predominantly going to focus about 70% on Kubernetes only, 15% on Docker, 10% on Jenkins, and the Git and remaining AWS stuff, right, will be 5%. Okay, this is the priority even you have to give during your preparation. You have to give during your preparation. So fine, let me show you. This is a one of the use cases. What other use cases we are going to see? I have a document for you. I told you, right, people have to follow two category, either category 1 and category 2. So the people who following the category 1, I'll show you few more use cases. I have a document for you. Okay, I'll share the screen. Hope you can see my document now. First, understand the document, how it is set up. All right. So here I have categorized. See, basically I have worked on 4 to 5 different Kubernetes projects, guys. Jenkins, Docker everywhere, and we have individually implemented almost 40 to 50 different infrastructures. All right. Based on that exposure, right? What I have done, I have created this entire content and curriculum. Okay, this is not a curriculum. This is a use case. These are client use cases. First, understand section 1 for Docker container. See, if you take CTS got a new project which is in pipeline. They are doing the POC for their client requirement. CTS approach the client in such a way they will help client to move their VM to container. Okay, by doing this way, client will have a huge cost difference on every month. So everything, right, scenario basis. My ultimate intention in our training program, daily basis, we are going to focus on minimum 1 month project use cases. So end of 30th day, right, you will be familiarized with minimum 20 to 50 different real project use cases. Right? End of 50th day, you will be familiarized with 20 to 50 different use cases. Right? That is what our overall intention. Okay, once again, one person unmuting and disturbing. Let me remove him from the meeting. All right, it's simply making a background noise which irritates. No, that's fine. So not only section 1 Docker container. See, if you go to section 2, see, developer committed their web application into GitHub. So we need to use Nginx or Apache to host our application, right? So expose the application publicly accessible using port 8081. Clone the source code from GitHub. So this is how your client requirement will be. When you work on a project, right, they'll be giving you either they will create a ticket or they will send you an email to do such activity. You'll have to understand the client requirement. You'll have to start work on. You'll have to understand the client requirement and you'll have to start work on. This is how they are setting it up. All right. See, there is another one use case, Docker file creation. Create an image using Docker file concept. Clone the application source code from the following repository. This is your repository. This is your web page repository. Expose the application into HTTP port. Use the Nginx or Apache service to deploy your application. Set up the Nginx and Apache default work directory. This is how your client requirement will be, guys. When you work on a live project or even if you go for any interview, your client will be asking you these kind of questions only. So that is what I prepare the course in such a way. Daily basis, we are going to learn with the real project perspective. That will give you more informative information, right? That is all our intention actually. Docker image automation, right? Kubernetes. Here see, IAM user creation or back resource-based access control. Okay, so my client target, he has EKS cluster. We have to expose their application. See, Fargate serverless Kubernetes cluster. We need to expose. See, my client need to expose their application using valid domain name. Domain name means what? www.hitech.com. If I'm loading me, it should work. Okay, so we have to manage DNS and SSL certificate. Application, right? It should work only through HTTPS. When I'm loading my application, it has to properly load with SSL certificate. HTTPS protocol should be loaded. They have to ensure my site is secure. I need to properly match with valid domain name. That is really informative and interesting thing, right? When you are practicing, you have to practice with this real project scenario only, because in live client project, everything will be like this only. Got it? So this is a use case. I'm showing. I kept it on PPT. Right? This is a use case, and we have few more also. AWS ECR image deployment. So GitHub, from the GitHub we are pushing into Docker, creating an image, and Amazon ECR we are pushing it. From the ECR we are pushing it to Kubernetes. Kubernetes creating a pod, and my application got exposed. That is my overall flow and progress. So we'll have to understand the client requirement. We'll have to follow the client's input. Okay, we'll have to understand the client input. We have to work on that particular scenarios as an area. Okay, so if anybody preparing by your own, whoever wanted to follow point 1, learn with real project use case. Learn with real project use case. Coming to the second category, you guys not unsure, you are not having much familiarized with the basic thing, join with me daily basis. I am going to start a new batch. I'll guide you what to be done. All right. So in this course, okay, you no need any pre-required knowledge. Whatever current knowledge you have, right, that's more than fine. Very, very, very interesting part is this entire batch, which I'm going to take care by myself only. No other trainer going to involve. not even single session. From the day 1 till 30th day of session, right? Everything will be taken care by myself individually. You need not to worry about it. Okay. So no need of pre-required knowledge. If you are able to understand my English, that's only the pre-requirement. Okay. Remaining my responsibility, I'll take care of it. We'll be guiding you with interview guidance. We are giving you certification guidance. People who ever wanted to do the CKA certification, we are supporting them. And if you got a job, you wanted to give some help on the job perspective, we are giving you job support as well. And we are giving you also placement assistance, how to prepare our resume, how to approach for a job, everything will give you. And each and every session we are giving you recorded. Okay, the session daily basis will be live. If you are not able to part of the live session, right, then and there the recorder will be giving it to you. Recorder will be shared with you, so you will have a lifetime access. If you missed any 1 or 2 session also, you'll have a lifetime access to your recordings. Okay, and all the document, all the PPT, everything will be handed over to you. Nothing left, complete bundle you will get it. Okay, if you want, I can show you that as well. Sorry. Let me log into my cloud server so that I can show you one more useful content. All right. Okay, this is one of my recent batch. All right. So if you go over, okay, daily basis. This is one of my recent Kubernetes batch which I completed. See, 15th December I've started introduction to Docker, Docker application deployment, handling multiple container and Docker commit custom image, Docker file part 1, Docker file part 2, different cluster environment, EKS cluster creation, pod versus deployment, troubleshooting Kubernetes, services in Kubernetes, ingress versus ingress controller, Fargate cluster with the domain name, DNS, SSL integration, Kubernetes namespaces, auto scaling and dashboard monitoring, Kubernetes volume part 1, Kubernetes volume part 2, Kubernetes volume part 3, Kubernetes config map, and on-prem Kubernetes cluster deployment using kubeadmin, and a ECR repo image push and custom image for code server, daemon set with a stateful set, Jenkins pipeline part 1, Jenkins pipeline part 2, Jenkins pipeline part 3, Jenkins pipeline part 4, Jenkins pipeline part 5, Helm chart in Kubernetes, Jenkins Kubernetes issue fixed, Helm chart in Kubernetes, and Jenkins RBAC, role-based access control, roles-based access control part 2, daily notes, documents, task, every YAML script will be given to you. If you go to daily notes, right, you will get the very informative information. Daily, whatever we are working, right, you need not to take a note separately. Everything will be given it to you. Very simple. You can access it anytime. It will be lifetime access. Got it. This is how you need to prepare, guys. This is how you need to learn with a real project scenario. One of my client BMW, they have many clusters applications are running. So everything you have to go with the real project scenario that will give you more idea, right? This is what all I want. This is what I'm trying to say. Fine, guys. I'll tell you about the batch timing and other details. Before that, I would like to show you these things. Okay. Fine. So this is our website. If anybody wanted to hurry, suddenly you're coming and taking online session. How can I believe you? Don't worry. High Tech Institution. This is our website. All right. If you go over there, you will get all our information from here. So how long we are providing service to the customers, everything you would be able to see. And another thing, if you go over there, right, people would have provided their feedback actually. Old batch students. I'll share you this link. People who have completed session only. These are all feedback only to me, guys. No other persons. People whoever like you attended the session, right? They have extended its feedback after the session. Okay, you can go ahead. You can have a look on it so that you will get some more confident. You will get some more confident. Not 1 person, 2 person. There are hundreds of people, right, who talked about me, about the way I'm taking a session and everything. You will get more confident. You can trust me. Basically, you can trust me. Basically, that is what all about. All right, fine, guys. So coming over here, we are starting a new batch, right? The batch which is starting from this tomorrow, 15th February. Tomorrow onwards we are starting. The session timing will be 8 to 9 a.m. IST. Daily basis, 1 hour session. I told you, right? Which is starting tomorrow. Daily basis, 1 hour class. Saturday, Sunday will be pure holiday. You need not to worry. So we'll be starting exactly from tomorrow. Overall course duration will be 1 month literally, which I'm planning. All right. In the batch, right, I'm planning to have 5 to 8 members in a single batch. Once I'm handling 5 to 8 members in a single batch, right, where I'm planning to give 75% of discount on my course fee. Okay, when you compare my fee structure with outside people, right, you can find minimum 75% of discount. The reason 5 to 8 members going to be in single batch, I am getting benefited on the business perspective. End user like you people, right, you also going to get benefit. That is what my overall intention, nothing else. Okay. So even though you are getting 75% of discount, right, you need not to pay the full fee. You wanted to check my knowledge level or whatever, you can simply enroll it. You can even pay it as in installment also. That's totally up to you. All right. So let me talk you about the actual course fee for Docker and for Kubernetes, for GitHub, for Jenkins, for AWS, all integrated. Right? People usually outside, if you go and check, general for training, they are charging for 23,000 without any use cases, without any scenario basis. But here, right, we are going with just 9999 only the course fee. Still wait, we are going to give one more offer also for you guys. Don't conclude, just wait. So people whoever wanted to go with this training, right, here we are providing with 9999 only. All right, this is the entire course fee. This is if people who are going to take it as a installment basis, you can go ahead, you can do it. For the confirmation, just as of now, do the 500. Okay, you can attend couple of sessions again, you can decide it. It's totally fine. All right, it's totally up to you. But there is a huge offer for the people, the person whoever going to enroll it, right? First to 5 to 8 members, they are going to get it in the batch. We are going to create a separate WhatsApp group after this session, right? I'm going to create a separate WhatsApp group. I'm going to add the 5 to 8 members into that particular batch. From tomorrow onwards, you will get the meeting link on the particular group only. All right.